students, today's topic is class and object. Okay, so let's start. First I discuss what is class and then object. So what is the definition of class? Class is an user defined data type or the basic building block of an object oriented program. Okay, so first I tell you about the general syntax of a class and then the example of a class. Okay, so see the general syntax here. First I write the keyword class, then the name of the class. Okay, then start the second bracket, that is colon brace, and within the brace declare some data member and member function. Okay, after declaring the data member and member function, which brace is open, this brace is closed. Okay, and after closing the brace, put the semicolon. This semicolon identify the end of the class. Okay, so now here I am writing some word, that is access specifier. Here first I am writing the access specifier, then declare the data member function. Again I declare the access specifier, then I declare the data member and member function, and same thing is repeat again and again. Okay, so when we declared any data member or member function, it must be declared under the access specifier. Okay, so based on the general syntax, see the example. Here I am writing a class rectangle. This rectangle class is written followed by the keyword class. Okay, then within the brace, you see within the brace I am declaring some data members and member function followed by the few access specifier, private, protected and public. Okay, and total body total value is written within the brace. That means you see that when in which line close the brace before after putting the writing the second closing brace, put the semicolon. Okay, this semicolon identify that the end of the class. So let's explain what is private, protected and public. That means explain the access specifier. Access specifier means it is the visibility modes. Okay, so access specifiers are the keyword of the object oriented programming. It means how the members of the class can be accessed. Okay, there are three types of access specifiers are available: public, private and protected. Okay, so let's discuss about the access specifier individually. First I declare the public. Public members, that means data member as well as member functions, are accessible from anywhere outside the world. Okay, that means outside the class. Okay, so here see the example. First I am writing the keyword class, then the name of the class, then brace is open, and before the closing brace, here I am writing some data members and member functions. Both values are declared under the public access specifier. Okay, first we write the name of the access specifier public, then colon, then write some data members. Either it is data member or member functions. Okay. Next is private. Private members, that means data member as well as member functions, cannot accessed from outside the class. Okay, that means which data value or member functions are declared as a private, this value is totally secured from the outside the class. Any other class cannot be accessed those private values. Okay. How this is declared? This is declared by the private keyword. Okay. You see here, the first I am writing a class, then open the brace, and then I am writing the keyword private, and then here I am writing some data members and member functions. Okay. So this is the procedure of writing of a private data values. Here something is happened. What is happened? You know, the object oriented programming features information hiding by data hiding. That means data or information can be hide from the outside the class. Okay. This is done by the private access specifier. Okay. And this private keyword is optional. That means if we not write the private keyword, then by default the data value or the member functions are declared as a private data members. Okay. So next is protected. Protected members cannot be accessed from the outside the class, only they can be accessed in inherited class. That means when one class is created from the another class, then the child class can access the values of the parent class, which is declared under the private protected access specifier. Okay. Here you see same procedure is going on. That means under the protected keyword I am writing declaring some data members and member functions. Okay. This is the access specifier, and depending on the criteria, that means depending upon the programmer is decided which data value is under the public, which members are the under the private, and under the protected keyword. Okay. So let's start about the member function definition. That means when we define a class, here first we are declare a function. Okay. So without function definition, function cannot be accessed anywhere. Okay. So how we define a function? That means where we define a functions. Functions are defined in two ways. One is inside the class and another one is outside the class. Okay. So first in this portion discuss about the inside the class. Okay. So you see here when we define a member function inside a class, it is normal function definitions. Okay. That means first we declare the return type, then the name of the member function, and then within the brace body of the member function is written here. Okay. So see the example here. Here I am writing a class rectangle under the private access specifier. Here I declare two data values. Okay. And under the public access specifier I am writing here two member functions. Okay. One is for input purpose and another one is output purpose. That means get data is input purpose and put data is output purpose. Okay. So these functions are defined within a class. Okay. So when we declare functions at this position, we write the body of the functions. Okay, the first we write the cout, then insertion operator, then within the double quotation display some text here, and then I am writing here endl. Endl is nothing but the new line character, and this line is finished with the semicolon. Okay, then I am writing here cin extraction operator, first data member, and again insertion extraction operator, second data members, and then semicolon. Okay, this line define you, that is cin for input values and cout for output values. Okay, cin and cout both are the object. Cin for input object and cout means output object. Okay, here again define the output functions. Okay, here we write the name of the function is put data, and this functions is used for display the result. Okay, so here again I write the cout, then insertion operator within double quotation length equals to again insertion operator value of the first data member, and then I am writing here the endl. Endl identify the new line character, and then within the brace again display something, that is breadth, and then the value of the breadth. That means when when we run this program, first line is input to values, then which value we are entered. Okay, that means after display these values, first we input some values and then display the values which we are entered in a class. Okay, next is outside the class. So here you see the general syntax, that is inside the class only declare the member functions. Okay, so how body is written? Body is written outside the class. That means compiler wants to know which member functions and which member functions and which class. Okay, so how this type of linking is done? That means class name and member functions. Okay, both are the same thing. That means under this class these functions are the member functions. Okay, this is done by this operator. This operator is known as a scope resolution operators, that is double colon. Okay, so here simply again write the return type, then the class name, then double colon, that means scope resolution operator, then name of the functions. Okay, and within the brace body of the functions. Okay, so you see the example here, that is same code is written here, only the definition of the functions is outside the class. Okay, so you see here the first line of our definition, that is first here writing the name of the class, then scope resolution operator, then the name of the functions. Okay, same procedure is happen for the output functions also. This is the procedure by which we can define a member functions. Okay, so which type of member function definition is needed, it's totally depends up to you, which one is easy to you. This type of class member function definition is used by you. Okay, so next portion is types of member function. That means how many types of member functions are used in a class. First is simple member functions, second one is static member function, third one is constant member function, Fourth one is inline member function, and last is friend member functions. Okay. Simple member function means it is nothing but the normal member function. Okay. The member function are defined or declared. First we declare within a class. Okay, and it is defined either the inside the class or outside the class. Okay, so normal member functions, that means those member functions which are used in a class, these member functions are known as the simple member functions. Okay. Next one is static member functions. Static member functions means when we write a member function in a class and used by the keyword static, then this member function is converted to the static member functions. Okay. Static member functions can be called even if no object of the class exists. Okay. It is a special member function and it is used only access the static data members. Okay, that means any other normal data member cannot be accessed through the static member functions. So here you see the general syntax, that is first we declare the how we call these member functions also. Okay. First we write the class name, then again use the scope resolution operator, and then name of the member functions, and if we put some values, then this value is putting within a parenthesis, and then close the line. Okay. So here simple functions. Okay, the simple program that is discuss about the static member functions, and you see that under the private access specifier I am writing here declaring two data member as a static. Okay, and one functions that is declared also the static. Okay. So after completing the class, okay, you see here this is the end of the class. First we input the values. Okay, that means static data members values, and it is simply normal calling procedure, that is data type, then class name, scope resolution operator, and x assignment operator 10. That means 10 is assigned to the data member x. Okay, and which is the static data member, and same procedure is happen when we put the value of the second data members, and we call the data member, that is in this way in the main functions. First we write the name of the functions, and then scope resolution operator, and then name of the functions. Okay, that is the procedure when we call the functions, static functions. Okay, here I am not creating any object here. Okay. Next one is constant member function. Constant member functions means this is there is a functions which are declared as a constant in the program. Okay, object called by these functions cannot be modified, and it is recommended to use the constant keyword, so the accidental changes to the object are avoided. Okay, and this member function can be called any type of objects. That means either it is a normal object, normal data values. Okay. Also there is a general syntax here, that is how we use the member function as a constant, that is return type, then name of the function, then use the constant keyword, parenthesis, and then semicolon, and this constant keyword either in front of parenthesis or before the parenthesis. Okay, see the example here, that is I am using a function name add with the return type void, and then here write the parenthesis and then constant keyword. Okay. Next one is inline functions. The member function that is defined inside its class member list is called the inline member functions. Member function containing a few lines of code are usually declared inline. Means when we declare the inline keyword in front of any member functions return type, then these functions are considered as a inline. That means when we call those functions, the body of the functions are available at that position. Okay, that means in the case of the normal functions, what is happened, first we declared a function, and in the another part we define the functions, and then finally we call the functions. And when we call the function, then first control jump to the body of the functions, and after reading the total body of the member function, then value, which value is calculating, that is sent to the, that means that is returned to the main functions. And this procedure is totally very time taking. Okay, so this time is reduced if we use the inline functions. Okay, so you see the general syntax here. First we write the inline keyword, then return type, name of the functions, and within parenthesis give some values, and what is the body of the function is written within a brace. Okay, so depending upon the general syntax, see the example here. First we write the inline, then int, name of the functions. Here I am writing some values, and this value is calculating which value is greater than. Okay, this is done by the inline functions. Next is friend functions. Friend functions means it is a function that is preceded by the keyword friend. Okay, when we declared a function as a friend, then it can access the private and protected data members of the class, and this friend function is declared inside the class within a friend keyword. Okay, that means the private value or the protected value, okay, that is not accessed from the outside the class, this value is totally accessible. So object oriented programming's major features, information hiding is broken here, and this type of member function is only available in C++ language. So C++ is not purely object oriented programming. Okay, so how we use the friend functions? See the general syntax here. First we use the keyword friend, then return type, then name of the functions, and then put some values. Okay, so here see the example here, friend, then void, name of the function add, and within the parenthesis give some values, and at the end of the line semicolon is there. Okay, and then what is object? Object is a instance of class. That means it is a runtime entity or real entity. Okay, because when first we create a class means nothing but a structure. That means what data members are used, what member functions is used, how we put the values. Okay, and after using the object, we can access those values which are declared in a class. Okay, so object is a instance of a class, or we can say it is the class variables also. How we create an object? First we write the class name, and then object name, then semicolon. After writing this line, which this object is created. Okay, you see here class name is rectangle, and I am writing here object name is R1. Okay, when compiler read this line, then compiler create a object R1 of a class rectangle, and with the help of this object we can access the date values, that means that is the data members or the member functions of the class. Okay, So accessing member of a class. See the general syntax here. First we create a object name, dot operator, and again name of the members. Okay, either it is data member, or when we use the if we use the member functions, so here after dot operator use some member functions. Okay, that means here you see there r1 dot l assignment operator 20, that means 20 is assigned to the first object's first data member. Okay, or otherwise either we direct put some values, or otherwise put some values through functions. Okay, so same procedure is happen r1 dot get data, name of the functions also. Okay, so what procedure is done in this line, we use the one of the most important features of an object oriented programming is message passing. Okay, so how this message is passing is done, you see here, that is first we create a class rectangle. Okay, and after that we create an object, and then when we call when we call the object with the member function member data member and put some values, that means this value is assigned to the data member of a class. Okay, that means we put some message to the class, okay, through the object. So this is done in this line, or in this code, it is simply explain the message passing. Okay, so next here is simple program to explain the class and object. Okay, so here you see, first we declare the header file, okay, iostream, then using namespace std, and then the create a class. Okay, first we write the keyword class, then the name of the class is sample. Under the private access specifier, here I am writing some data members a and b. Under the public access specifier, I am taken here two functions, one for input value and one for output values. Okay, here I am putting some values here, x and y. These values are passed to the a and b, and then for put data functions is used for the display purpose. Okay, here you see the end of the class, and then writing the main function. Okay, so first we create a object, that is the name of the class, and then space variable name or object name, semicolon. Then we put some values, that means message passing is done. How this is done? This is done by, here you see, first here I am using the name of the object, then dot operator, then get data functions, and then put some values. Okay, that means 10 and 20, those values are passed through the data member a and b, which is the member of a class. Okay, and then put the semicolon, and then again which value is stored to the data get data through the get data function, these values are display with the help of display function. Okay, again this procedure is happen, object name dot name of the output functions, and in this line first define the first result a, and then the value of the b. Okay, so thank you.